Sterile Processing Technician, HPSA CRCST Study Questions. Question 1. What type of synovial joint is the wrist joint, hinge joint, pivot joint, gliding joint, ball and socket joint? The correct answer is pivot joint. Explanation. The wrist joint is an example of pivot joint. Neck joint is another example of pivot joint. Pivot joint allows turning and rotation motions. Examples are neck joints and wrist joints. Neck joint allows the head to rotate or move from side to side. The joint of the wrist allows the palm of the hand to be turned up and down. Question 2. Which of the following name is associated with self-retaining retractor? Hohmann, Whitelehner, Richardson, Mayo. The correct answer is Whitelehner. Explanation. A retractor is a surgical instrument used to move tissue aside to expose a surgical site to facilitate access to body parts under the incision. Self-retaining retractors stay open on their own, allowing the surgeon to work with two free hands. Examples of self-retaining retractors are Whitelehner, Beckman-Adson, and Gelpi. Question 3. What type of pressure is kept in the decontamination area? Negative air pressure, positive air pressure, neutral air pressure, atmospheric air pressure. The correct answer is negative air pressure. Explanation. The type of pressure that is typically kept in the decontamination area is negative pressure. Negative pressure is maintained in this area to prevent the potential escape of contaminants and microorganisms from the decontamination space into surrounding areas. This helps to minimize the risk of contamination and maintain a controlled and safe environment for processing contaminated items. Question 4. Which regulatory body sets the standards and regulations for sterilization and disinfection in healthcare facilities? CDC, OSHA, AORN, FDA. The correct answer is FDA. Explanation. The CDC provides guidelines and recommendations for infection control and prevention in healthcare settings, including those related to sterilization and disinfection processes. While OSHA, AORN, and the FDA play important roles in healthcare safety and regulations, the CDC is particularly known for its guidelines in this specific area. Question 5. What is the Spalding classification for a cystoscope? Critical, semi-critical, non-critical, hypercritical. The correct answer is semi-critical. Explanation. Cystoscope is used to visualize the bladder area. Since the device makes contact with the intact mucous membranes and not direct contact with the bloodstream, it falls under semi-critical devices. Another example is endoscope. Question 6. What is one of the greatest challenges that central service technicians face? Keeping track of all the instruments used in a procedure. Understanding the scientific principles behind the operation of the instruments. Learning how to use the instruments themselves. Keeping abreast of new and evolving instruments and their specific processing requirements. The correct answer is keeping abreast of new and evolving instruments and their specific processing requirements. Explanation. One of the greatest challenges that central service technicians face is keeping abreast of new and evolving instruments and their specific processing requirements. The healthcare industry continually introduces new medical instruments and technologies, each with its unique processing and sterilization needs. Central service technicians must stay updated on these developments to ensure the safe and effective handling of instruments. This includes understanding the correct cleaning, sterilization, and maintenance procedures for each instrument to maintain patient safety and the quality of healthcare services. Question 7. Why should towels be laundered after sterilization? To rehydrate the fibers prior to sterilization, to keep them in great shape and renewed, to keep them clean and dry for reuse, to make them last longer and disinfected. The correct answer is to rehydrate the fibers prior to sterilization. Explanation. Towels should be laundered after sterilization to rehydrate the fibers prior to the next sterilization. Reusable woven packaging materials must be laundered and inspected between each use. Laundering aids in rehydration of the packaging material and prevent superheating. Question 8. According to Spaulding classification, which of the following is classified as non-critical? Crutches, pacemaker, endoscope, implant screws. The correct answer is crutches. Explanation. According to Spaulding classification, items that come into contact with the patient's intact non-broken skin are classified as non-critical items. Examples of non-critical items include stethoscopes, blood pressure, cuffs, crutches, and bedpans. Question 9. Which of the following will not be considered a communication roadblock? Unfair comparison, just like me, good day, bad day effect, emotional awareness. The correct answer is emotional awareness. Explanation. A communication roadblock is a barrier or obstacle that hinders effective communication between individuals or groups. The 6 communication roadblocks are: 1. Unfair comparison. Comparing people is like comparing apples and oranges. Everyone has different skills, talents, etc. 2. Just like me. We tend to like those who have common interests or backgrounds. 3. Stereotypes. This happens when we assign general qualities to a specific group of people. 4. Good day, bad day effect. Happens when we allow personal feelings to affect communications. 5. The halo effect. We value people that have qualities we admire. When this happens, negative behaviors may be overlooked. This may create favoritism. 6. The pitchfork effect. Dislike someone because of one quality characteristic. Prevent from seeing the good in others, opposite of halo effect. Question 10. An informal communication network at work is referred to as chit-chat, insinuation, grapevine, gossiping. The correct answer is grapevine. Explanation. Grapevine is informal communication network found at workplace. Rumors and gossips will be typical examples. Question 11. What is the bacterial spore used for monitoring dry heat sterilization? Bacillus atrophaeus, Geobacillus stearothermophilus, Bacillus subtilis, Staphylococcus aureus. The correct answer is Bacillus atrophaeus. Explanation. Bacillus atrophaeus. Spores should be used to monitor the sterilization process for dry heat because they are more resistant to dry heat than the spores of Geobacillus stearothermophilus. The primary lethal process is considered to be oxidation of cell constituents. Question 12. Which of the following tracking system will allow CS technician to track a single instrument within a set or tray? RFID, standard barcode, dot matrix applications, laser-etched barcodes. The correct answer is RFID. Explanation. RFID tracking system will allow CS technician to track a single instrument within a tray and also allow to identify the set into which a specific instrument was placed. RFID, radio frequency identification, provides real-time location information as items move through the facility and processing cycle. Question 13. What type of pressure is kept in the decontamination area? Negative air pressure, positive air pressure, neutral air pressure, atmospheric air pressure. The correct answer is negative air pressure. Explanation. The type of pressure that is typically kept in the decontamination area is negative pressure. Negative pressure is maintained in this area to prevent the potential escape of contaminants and microorganisms from the decontamination space into surrounding areas. This helps to minimize the risk of contamination and maintain a controlled and safe environment for processing contaminated items. Question 14. Whose responsibility is it to perform equipment validation? Sterile processing technicians, device manufacturer, facility biomedical engineers, physicians. The correct answer is device manufacturer. Explanation: validation is documented procedures performed by a medical device manufacturer to establish that a process consistently yields a product complying with predetermined specifications. The goal of validation is to ensure that the manufactured medical devices meet the required quality and performance standards consistently and reliably. This process is essential for quality control and to meet regulatory requirements in the healthcare industry. Question 15. Which sterilization method generates its own sterilant? Ethylene oxide, vaporized hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, gas plasma, ozone. The correct answer is ozone. Explanation: ozone sterilization systems generates the ozone sterilant, which eliminate the need to purchase or handle a sterilant. Question 16. Sterilization tape is an example of what indicator class? 1, 2, 3, 4. The correct answer is 1. Explanation: sterilization tape is an example of a Class 1 chemical indicator. Class 1 chemical indicators are also known as process indicators. They are used to show that a package has been exposed to a sterilization process, but they do not provide information about the sterilization effectiveness or whether the conditions necessary for sterilization have been met. Question 17. Yellow test material is used to test the sharpness of which of the following instruments? Wrongers, osteotoms, scissors 4 inches or smaller. Chisel. The correct answer is scissors 4 inches or smaller. Yellow test material is used to test the sharpness of scissors 4 inches of smaller. The scissors must be able to cut through the tips 2 to 3 times. Question 18. Which voluntary organization works to prevent HI in healthcare facilities? AORN, ANSI, TJC, APS. The correct answer is APIC. Explanation: the Association for Professionals in Infection Control and Epidemiology, APSC, is a voluntary international organization whose members work to prevent healthcare-associated infection, HAI, in healthcare facilities. Question 19. How far away from the exterior wall should sterile package be stored? At least 2 inches, not more than 18 inches, 6 to 12 inches, not more than 2 inches. The correct answer is at least 2 inches. Explanation: sterile packages must be stored 8–10 inches off the floor, at least 2 inches away from exterior walls and windows, 18 inches below the ceiling or the level of the sprinkler head, away from heavy traffic. Question 20. Muslin wrappers must use which type of wrapping technique? Sequential wrapping technique, simultaneous wrapping process, overlapping wrapping process, envelope fold simultaneous. The correct answer is sequential wrapping technique. Explanation: muslin-type wrappers must always use sequential wrapping technique. Sequential wrapping technique implies the content has been wrapped in sequence, one after the other. With sequential wrapping technique, the package is wrapped twice, a package within a package.